Hello everyone and welcome to another Mark 1 in the marketplace. This time we will again be looking at some really expensive Mark 1s, probably just even more expensive than the last video, which has been a very popular video by all accounts. So I thought I'd do another one. Why not? Because you obviously like them and people view them, so I'm going to make more. This time we'll be having a look at just a few examples that have cropped up on eBay of all places. 3 examples of which are actually being sold by the same car dealership, and I will name them because they have some extremely nice stock. If you want a Mark 1 Focus in a low mileage, excellent condition, from a dealer with that a 6-month guarantee, basically, because you basically have 6 months worth of if you have a problem you can go back to the dealer. Now obviously that doesn't legally covers quite a few things. There's more protection for you than for the dealer, which is why the dealers sell their cars at predominantly quite a high markup, because it is to cover the potential cost of the customer returning with a problem, but it will be a known problem that might have been there during the sale. So, and that on a Mark 1 could cover something like a rear suspension corrosion. You know, that is more prominent on a lot of these cars now, and that isn't, well, that'd be the first thing I'd be looking at if I bought one from a dealer, the corrosion at the rear end, if what has been replaced, because it would just give me a little bit more protection if I was to purchase such a vehicle. I would also recommend that if you are going to a dealership and viewing such a car, no matter what, you know, the price might be £2,000 or £3,000, then I would take pictures of the car that you are buying, because you need to ascertain the condition for yourself in your own pictures, with a time and a date stamp to say that, you know, and obviously maybe a picture of the background of the business to say, well, this was the condition that I bought the car in. Just gives you a little bit of protection there, and dealers do know that they don't want comebacks, and they want to make sure that cars are as in good a condition as possible. So it's a very worthwhile tip if you've got if you're looking for a Mark 1, but you don't want to go down the rather risky route of risky but possibly quite a cheap way of buying a Mark 1 privately. But at the same time, you don't want the potential pitfall of the expense of an old car. I have to say, I have to give it to any dealership who wants to touch cars this age, because there is an awful lot of risk in cars this age, and there is no such thing as sold as seen in the trade. Unfortunately, there are so many consumer trading regulations that have to be abided by. It makes it pretty difficult. Anyway, let's get in and look at the first one. The first one is this one. It is a Ford Focus 1.6 Zetec Mark 1 automatic. My kind of car. A genuine 31,000 miles, ULEZ okay, and most Mark 1s, well, pretty much every Mark 1, unless it's a diesel, after January the 1st, 2001, will be ULEZ compliant, I can assure you. You can try and fight that, particularly if you live within the zone, because pre-2001 petrols can certainly be, you can probably get a certificate of compliance from the manufacturer, just stating basically how much emissions are based on what its Euro rating is. But this one, 4,795. That is absolutely, yeah. My first impression is, what is this car worth it? I'm gonna have a look straight in there. That's a good shot for a start. It looks like machine silver. It doesn't look like moon dust to me, unless the pictures are mistaken. That looks good there. I can't see much corrosion, and there's no dents. You have to look very close at a Mark 1, because there are some intricate creases down the car. There's a crease just here on the sill, and people mistake, oh, your sill's been bashed in. No, that is a deliberate crease, and it's something that I really had to tell my body man to not lose when he was doing the sill, because I've seen so many Mark 1s with square patches on the sill, and you've lost the crease and it doesn't look right. It looks really tidy again from the other side. Very nice, very nice. All original radio, you know, Harlequin trim on the seats, everything I would expect for this age. Yes, 32,000 miles. Blooming hell, half a tank of fuel. Hope that's correct. Maybe they've used it a bit more, but working radio, everything lights up. Ashtray with a bit of fur in it. I have to say that looks really, really nice, and the seats are cleaned up nicely. Document booklet. Nice boot well, etc, etc. Okay, so really what we're looking at here comes in full documented service history. It's showing it has been maintained to the highest of standards with the timing belt done at 20,000 miles. That's good. It's been well looked after. Owned by the same family the last 11 years. Oh, that is a very, very nice car then. People don't own cars that long unless they're good cars. It has been their pride and joy and shows the overall condition. I can understand that. Oh, it's Vitro Green. Right, I couldn't tell from the pictures. No, the pictures are a bit deceiving there. With the immaculate Harlequin cloth interior. This is a superb example, which really stands proud. Yeah, it certainly does. It will come with a 12-month MOT, nice extras, blah, blah, blah. Well, everything you would expect, guys. Nothing outstanding. Just everything works, and that's what you want. You want a Mark 1 that has everything that works when you're buying a car at this price bracket. Driven on a good 30-mile test drive, drove superbly. Yeah, perfect. Do you know what? That looks absolutely amazing. Is it worth that? It's worth what somebody's willing to pay for it. But if you want a Mark 1 that looks that good up the top, I just hope underneath it really does look as good as what it does on the top. But rest assured, you're buying just as reliable a car as any car from this age, because people don't have cars for 11 years. That it's just simply, people have had cars 20 years, but it's very, very rare that people hang on to cars for more than 5 years. So I tend to think any car that's done over 5 years with the same owner, that's a massive plus point in my head. So that's an interesting one. That's the most expensive, 4,800 basically. Would I pay that? No, and I don't think they're going to be worth generically that much at the moment. But that is from a dealer, and this is what you're getting in black and white, automatic 1.6, 31,000 miles. Somebody will snap that up, I can assure you. And this is the company, Cherished Autos. Cherished Autos. They have got a few, and this is the next car they've got in stock. The next car they have is the Ford Focus 1.8 gear Mark 1, genuine 39,000 miles. What another low mileager. And it's a gear this time, and the 1.8. So suitable for somebody who wants a bit more extra power. 3,600. Okay, this is interesting. This is really nice. This is moon dust silver by a long shot with a colour coordinated trims. Let me just highlight it in there. Yeah, it looks all straight to me. This is what I'm looking at, guys. I'm looking at the sill. Again, it looks like it's just starting to go a little bit, but I think it's really, really minor at this age. The stone deflector looks in really good condition. That's another one, they do get bashed up. Again, it looks tidy down that side, and everything looks really nice with the crease in the right place, and they scrub up so nicely. Could do with some floor mats on this one. Global closing. Hopefully it all works. That is a big plus point if the electric windows work. Again, everything's original. Black dials, gear, etc. Now, it does state this in the advert. It says 35 miles there. This clock was replaced, I think, when the car had only done 3,000 miles. So there was a solder issue with the original. And it was replaced with this one that says 35 on it. So I presume that explains that mistake. It's not clocked, it's got genuine 39, and it has been explained by the dealer. Gear knob looks in really good condition as well. Yeah, and that's what you want to see. Maybe some stamps? No, maybe not. I would like to see some stamps. It always sells. Cars with histories do sell I will say that, and sell for more. It's passed 17 out of 19 MOTs in its life. Tells the story. Currently MOT to November with no advisories. Yeah, immaculate luxury velour interior. It's got everything. Yeah. Is there anything not working? Doesn't say here. It looks like everything works, and I can imagine that actually at this age. And I think that's much more better value for money than the other one. But what it makes me think is, why is that 1,100? Well, no. Why is that £1,200 cheaper than the ZTEC 1.6? I've got a feeling the automatic element is in this because people are paying more for automatics. But that means that everybody who wants manual Mark 1s are a little bit better off in this case. So definitely in this is a really nice example. I've never been a fan of these wheel trims personally. I think they're the worst looking gear trims out of all of them. I just don't. I think they're a bit tacky, to be honest. But each their own. This is tidy though, and well worth that money. I think for the spec, the engine, and the condition, if it's tidy underneath, 3,600 is very much near the money that I would imagine them being worth now. And we have the next one from Cherished Autos, the third car that they have in stock. Now this is quite interesting. Now we've gone from a ZTEC to a gear, now we're back to an LX. 1.6 LX, genuine 30,000 miles. Where are they buying these cars from? Honestly, whoever works at Cherished Autos loves Mark 1s. They absolutely love them. One lady owner from new. Okay, that's why we got this price going on here. 4.5 grand. Okay, so in terms of what you get a little bit more than the ZTEC, and then you lose some things like fog lights. They were cheaper to buy than ZTECs. That's very tidy in there. I have to say, this might have been garaged. Well, it certainly hasn't been used, because that's very, very tidy. I can't see anything. It's usually this bit just here, and I can't see anything. It's very tidy. Headlights have gone a bit yellow, but that will take half an hour to sort. I would probably recommend they sort that out, because that's an easy job for them to do. I'm surprised they haven't done that. But it presents very nicely, as they all do. Gonna go any further? No, is that it? Yep. Oh, no, sorry. I seem to have gone a bit more. Yeah, genuine mileage. Checks out. Very nice trim. Oh God, I think it's called R trim, possibly. I can't remember that pattern's name now. Very, very nice indeed. Well, this one lady owner from new. Yeah, rare focus Mark 1 in amazing condition, only 30,000. Yeah, maintains the highest of standards. I'm not surprised. Comes with a service book featuring 16 service stamps. It's been well looked after a recent service just done in March 2023. Long MOT to the March 2024. Now this is quite interesting. This tells me that this car's been up for sale for almost a year, because that's when they put the MOT on it. So they're obviously willing to stick to their guns and actually say, no, we're not reducing that price, because somebody will recognise this. So it's quite interesting. Nobody's bitten on that price yet. And I say yet because somebody will. They might even watch this video and may want to... I think I might ask Cherished Autos for some sort of commission on this. Yeah, it's passed 15 out of 16 MOTs in its life. Yeah, chased by 180 from new. Blah 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 blah. Current keeper chose to pay extra for the rear parking sensors at a £300 cost, and the metallic paint again an extra £300 cost. No, you would have got that standard. No, that would have been standard. But the rear parking sensors, I didn't actually see them. They are genuine parking sensors. They're embedded in the bumpers. They look really nice, better than the aftermarket ones that have been shoved onto mine. They look really nice, they do. Yeah, they work as well, obviously. So, yeah, usual stuff. Fantastic. I can understand why nobody's bitten, because it's an LX, and I wouldn't pay $4,500 for an LX at the moment, no matter how good it is. But they need to do something about those headlights. I think they might. Oh, I wonder if they might be watching this, think, oh, we need to go back and sort that out. I certainly would. I think this is, again, a £3,500 car, even at that mileage, because nobody's bitten, and there is a reason nobody's bitten. They're not quite worth this at the moment. I'd like them to be somewhat, but they're not quite. We need to be realistic about this. Right, so that's our 3 cars. Now there's a 4th one that I've seen on eBay for really good money, so let's go and have a look at this. Okay, so we have ST170 2004 3-door in Panther Black. Woohoo! Lovely colour, great colour in any Mark 1. Unbiased. Low mileage, owners, fantastic. £3,500 private sale. Let's have a look. Very straight away at the front, and there's no flattening or paint damage. This is a very good start. I like it. I'm assuming when I see garages in adverts, I just think, is it garaged? Well, it could be. The trims are sitting very nicely for ST170 trim caps. They always tend to, maybe not. I spoke too soon. Doesn't matter. They're all like that. Very straight down the back side. It looks very tidy indeed. This is very tidy. I like how he's taken the pictures sideways like that, and that, so you can see that there's no dents. Yeah, absolutely. Looks good. Looks good to me. Everything is standard on this car. Even the cover that goes over the coil pack, they go missing frequently during a service. Fantastic. I mean, this is a really honest engine bay. There's 2 things I like about it. You've got the cover over the coil pack. Well, 3 things. You've got no stickers. It's just totally and utterly original. This heat shield over the exhaust frequently breaks. People throw them in the bin. Don't replace them. Seen too many ST170s without them heat shields, and it doesn't look complete without it. That's a great picture. Thank you very much. This is a very good advert. I'm liking this advert straight away, because that's exactly what gives me confidence. I mean, that looks good as well. That's a photo of the rear suspension. That looks like it's had its arms and springs done. This is great. This is brilliant. This is exactly what you want to see when you actually go to look at a Mark 1. If I saw a Mark 1 with suspension like that, if I've gone to see one, I'll probably agree to buy it at the price it's at, because that's excellent. Yeah, that looks good as well. Again, good photos of exactly what you want to see. Great photos, and that's where it stops. If we come down here, whoa, Jesus. This is brilliant. He's done engine, suspension, wheels, interior, exterior. Let's break this down. So, full history, top 4 branded Continental tyres, non-smoker, low mileage, low owners, 4 including myself, winter pack, climate control, heated front screen, recent MOT service including steering rack. Great, good, top spec model with everything working. If you know about ST170s, you know how hard it is to find one that hasn't been affected by rust. I thought he was going to say it hasn't been modified. That's also what I think. Look at the pictures underneath mine. It's immaculate, having been wax oiled. Brilliant. Furthermore, there's no mention of rust or corrosion on the MOT. 99% ST170s will have some rust on them now, not mine. Well, to be fair, it will have rust on it, but it's very minute surface stuff. They've all got rust on them. The only reason this is for sale is because I have the opportunity to buy my old WRX back, a car I should never have sold and instantly regretted when I did. The WRX is considerably more to buy than the value of the ST170, so the ST170 is to help to help fund that purchase. That is a great reason. What a fantastic I mean, that is great enough. That would give me so much confidence. I love this guy. Whoever the hell this guy is, who owns this car, that is absolutely top notch. I can't say anything else about that other than I understand. Engine, I've serviced it 200 miles ago, complete with all fluids, plugs, all parts were genuine, Ford and not unbranded, compression was very high, engine's warm, oil temperature is very top of the range. I changed the thermostat recently, again, genuine Ford, it warms up and maintains temperature perfectly. Suspension, almost all of it is brand new. New shocks and rear springs, oh goodness me. Wishbones, brand new steering rack, the list goes on. As a consequence, it handles as if it was brand new. Brilliant, because that's what you want from a Mark 1, for it to handle like when it was brand new, not when it was 15 years old and really knackered. Wheels, immaculate, they've been refurbished. Best of all, they've had a top-end Continental tyres with plenty of tread. No skimping has taken place here. No expense spared with this car. Interior, never smoked in, very good condition, everything works, I mean everything. The recent job was to change the climate control unit so it maintains the correct temperature inside. Very little wear at all, as you would expect for a car this mileage. Very well looked after. Exterior, fantastic. Only a few slight marks for its age. There's no rust, no rot, no warp paint. It's easy while the best around. I have it for sale anywhere. It could be listed at any time. Please check out my other. If the deal is agreed, a deposit of 100 is required immediately. The balance will be paid. Blah 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 blah. No, I'm not going to even entertain silly offers, so don't waste your time making them. Wow, it's taken my breath away, that is, reading all that out. That, ladies and gentlemen, is the best advert that I have seen since I've been doing Facebook Marketplace, eBay Marketplace, I don't care. Mark 1's for sale on the internet since I've been doing these videos for the last 18 months now. That is the best advert. That is how I would do an advert for my car. You summarise everything. So the buyer has already got a very good picture of what they're walking into. And you know what? For £3.5 grand, this guy's just sold that. I hope someone does recognise it for what it is. It's located in Leicester. I hope that somebody recognises that for what it is, because ST170s in this sort of condition, original, honest, I think that's worth 3.5 all day long. But if you went in with, I'd say if you made him an offer of 3.3, I think there's a deal to be done there. So you could maybe get a couple hundred off. But really, you're with those tyres, the tyres thrown on is just like the piece of the cake. So that, for me, is brilliant. Best advert ever. Well done, whoever owns this car. And I hope that it sells and that you can get the WRX that you want to, that you should never have sold. And believe you me, I've done that with buying back cars that I should never have sold. Now, there is one final car that I'm going to go through here. It's not an expensive Mark 1. It's actually the opposite. I want to end this video here because it is up for sale right now. Sorry, that was the wrong picture. There we go. Okay. So, I like rare Mark 1s. And this one is very rare, because in 2001, Ford decided that it wanted to capitalise on the LPG market a little bit with their own cars. And the Ford Focus got that treatment. The LPG conversion. Well, it's not a conversion, it was a factory-fitted system. But it was a bit of a conversion, because some things had to be moved around, which I'm going to demonstrate in a second. I've mentioned this so many times before. In terms of how many of these are left, well, this is a gear. They were available on the LX, Z-Tech and Gear. They were only available with the 1.8 Z-Tech engine. That was the only engine to get the treatment. Probably the only engine they thought would sell and be appropriate for an LPG conversion, maybe. Excuse me. And it's got a long MOT. It's ULEZ compliant. But it's got an idling issue, okay? Which is why it's up for £500. It's been sold in Enfield. It's been up for a number of weeks. And I think this car deserves a chance. I really do. Because it's so rare. I think, as far as I'm aware, there's only about 7 Gear LPGs. That's it. 7. That's it. Gone. And this is one of them. So let's go through this. There is a video here, which I'm going to play. Yeah, first of all, we're missing the stone deflector. Can get hold of one of them and clip it on. The wing has got a bit of a dent in it. It's had a bit of a life, but I think it deserves another life, this one. Now, let's listen to this. Okay, that sounds like... That is not happy. Yeah, that's a complete misfire. That is not happy. There is another sound as well. Yeah, there is also another sound. It sounds like while the belts, there's some sort of, wow, it could be a bearing sound from what I've heard, but that engine needs a bit of TLC. The LPG system is behind this, I believe. You can't see the LPG injectors. You could switch between injection, the LPG and the petrol system very easily in these. That, for me, first of all, I'd buy a Mark 1 like that. Absolutely. For the £500, absolutely. Why don't I buy this? I haven't got the money. Just don't ask me that. If I did, I might be tempted myself. But I would probably look at the leads. They are the original. They look like genuine Ford ones to me. I'd change the coil pack and the leads and see what you get, and the plugs, and start from there. Okay. If it's an idling problem, it could be something as stupid as a mass airflow sensor, which I've spotted up there. You never know about these things. They can cause so many issues. But I would probably investigate and see if there's an individual plug that's misfiring. So there you go. There's your bet. It looks good on that side. It doesn't. It looks very straight down there. Just looks dirty. It's not very well presented. It's probably the opposite to the last advert. And there you have the little LPG filler in the on the passenger side. Yeah, it looks very straight down here. I mean, there's a little bit of surface corrosion coming in there. Yeah, there's a little bit of bubbling going on there. Yeah, it looks like the temperature is also... That's not normal. The temperature gauge should not be pointing over this side. It should be halfway. So it's getting a bit hot as well. LPG cars, by the way, guys, they do run a bit hotter if you're using the LPG side of things. Yep, standard sort of interior, really. There should be a switch. I can't remember for the life of me where that switch is. Ah, brilliant. Now, this is something that many of you would never have seen before. It's the LPG tank where the spare wheel goes. Unfortunately, in the LPG models, you lose the spare wheel capacity. You have to put the spare wheel in the boot or buy one. That's the only place for it because, hello, LPG tank. You get your tow hook over there with this foam that covers the whole thing. That pipe there is what leads into the tank to fill it up from the filler on this side. And then this is basically, I believe, that the outlet to, I don't know what this module is. It's possibly a priming unit. And then that will go straight to the injectors at the front. That's where it's going. So quite interesting to see on a Mark 1. And that is a very rare thing to see. I've always said one of these needs to be preserved in the group, and I think I'm making a case. Aha! That's the button. Look at that, ladies and gentlemen. Have you ever seen that button where you won't? Because, well, you don't want that switch to break, because I don't think you'd ever get another one unless it's another LPG. That is very, very rare. It's a one-button console. Usually you have a few, but that's usually a heated switch button. But it isn't on this. It is the LPG switch. Push that on and it switches to LPG. Now, most of these cars will not run on LPG no more because it's hard to get. If you can still get it, perfect. It will still probably run because those LPG systems, they never really fail. It's just the problem with LPG systems is they do make the engine run a bit hotter because the gases burn hotter. So it can lead, unfortunately, to some valve seat issues. It's not uncommon for valves to drop a seat with the heat from an LPG system. See, that is the concerning thing. It has just gone up there. But actually, that looks like rust that's just bubbled all the way through. Personally, that all needs cutting out. That could be, to be honest, to put that right, I would say we're looking at £400 with paint, and that will look like factory. But it's whether you consider it worth it. Again, that side's not too bad, actually. It's starting to go a bit. So there is, unfortunately, a bit of money that might need to be spent. I'd personally put it for 400 spares and repairs and not 500. But let's just have a look. If someone 98,000 miles, that's good. I owned this car for a couple of years, bought it because it was ULEZ compliant, and the LPG is only 90p a litre. I think it's around that still these days. It's if you can get the LPG, there's a few places that still do it. It passed its MOT last week, so it is roadworthy. So that's interesting. So if it's passed its MOT on a misfire, it can't be that bad. That's quite interesting. Because I wouldn't have thought it would have passed the MOT. It's got the ISOFIX in the back, genuine Ford brackets were available as an option. That's a very rare fitment. It runs on both, but it's better on the petrol. I'd agree with that. They've changed the spark plugs and the coil pack, but it still runs like that. We don't want to spend any more on it, but it needs a few bits. I don't want to go into scrap because it has a long MOT and has these issues. The engine runs rough at idle, seems a bit down on power. However, it still gets up to speed. The engine light flashes but goes out. That's a sensor problem. That is a definite sensor problem then you're looking at. So I think it could be something like a MAF air. It could be crank position sensor or the mass airflow sensor. I'd give them to a big look and probably change them for peace of mind. There's a water leak from the water pump, thermostat housing area, bubbling on the arches. Starter motor is worn or takes a couple of attempts to engage, but it still starts. Potentially needs replacing, could just need cleaning, could be a poor battery, that could be an easy fix. Rear wiper doesn't work, well that's okay, we'll sort that, that's cheap. Remote key won't lock the car, but it does unlock it. Oh, that's quite a common one actually, but it's usually, it is the driver's door lock, it's usually the grease that starts playing up in it. Again, clean, it could be a clean and tidy up job. One tyre's worn, that's alright. Cam belt is due, that's easy enough. Had a scrape and dent on the far right corner. I can scrap it for $290, so won't consider offers below that. So he's open to offers. So I say, £400. Yeah, I can't offer any warranty. I think that's worth going for. I think if somebody fancies a very, very, very rare Mark 1 and would like to bring it to some meets, I think that's a really cracking car and it's worth a life. New wing, couple of cheap fixes. I think that's got a life in it. I really do. I mean, fancy turning up to a meet and you've got that thing on the side. Yes, that's going to be quite a rare sight. It may never be seen, so it's worth. I think it's worth saving. Anyway, I'm going to finish this here. And there you go. We've seen two sides of the coin as such. Expensive Mark 1s from a very nice car dealer, I think, and selling really excellent models. The best Mark 1s and the tidiest Mark 1s that you'll probably see on the roads. An ST170 that I consider to be one of the nicest that I've seen advertised recently, and probably a very genuine sale. You wouldn't have written all that if it wasn't a genuine sale. It looks amazing, and the advert sold it to me, really. I wish I had that sort of money because I don't know what people are. Somebody's got to get a fantastic ST170. And that, I think that's slap bang on the money for the amount of things that you've got on that car. You won't have to worry about massive long-term ownership issues. Very rarely does a Mark 1 Focus get sold when the underside is that clean, the rear suspension has been done front to back, it's wearing fantastic tyres, it starts on the button, been serviced, no dents, no massive paint, no paint defects or very minimal. People don't sell them Mark 1s like me. They keep them. You don't do that to a Mark 1 to sell it on. But this is a genuine sale because someone's trying to realise his dream. And the LPG, somebody needs to give that car a chance. It's still up for grabs. It's been up for grabs for a good few weeks as far as I'm aware. It's not... If it wasn't the LPG, I wouldn't give it a 2 moments thought. But someone out there might recognise its rarity. And might be able to take advantage of the LPG element of that. But anyway, I was given a comment ages ago saying that Mark 1 prices have just gone absolutely nuts. I'd never pay more than what was it, £1,500, and my comment to that is that's pre-COVID money. That is what Mark 1s at the top end, or maybe the sort of good to top end side, would have been worth before COVID. But since then, there's been a bit of a market change, hasn't there? There are far less on the road now than when COVID was around. That was 4 years ago. Come on. quite a few thousand have come off the road. In fact, I'd say about 80,000 have come off the road since then. I'm not joking either. The numbers have literally plummeted. And because there are less examples, of which there are less very good examples like that ST170 and the examples we've seen apart from this LPG, people are willing to spend more money getting a better car and a good solid foundation to look after one of these. And I would absolutely agree with that, because I think I'd be doing exactly the same if I was looking for one now. But anyway, I'm glad I'm not, because it's getting expensive now. But this is not atypical. These are at the top end of the Mark 1 era. We're still seeing majority of cars being sold between £1,000 and £2,000. But more and more examples I'm seeing going on the market for over £2,000 if they're in really good condition. And I think that's the way forwards at the moment. Anyway, you take care, guys. Thank you very much for watching this lovely episode again. I'm sure I'll put another one out soon, because you just keep watching this stuff and I love making them. Take care, guys.